when everyone looks back on what my career was, I hope that it changed and opened things and it allowed people to do what they love.
We always knew that it was something special about me and that I was going to break stereotypes.
Now on the Epicenter of Women's Sports podcast, Portland Thorns teammates making history.
Every little girl wanted to play football because of me and my teammates, and that was something that is like priceless.
Global football icon Deyna Castellanos and U.S. national team star Olivia Moultrie open up about changing the game.
You come and you sue the league, which is like most people are like, she's suing the league? I don't regret any of it. I love where I am now, and I love that I get to continue to build because, like you said, I am only 19. So I get to have a whole career in front of me.
And reveal what drives them to the top of their sport.
I think that's my purpose, like in life, like opening doors, like for little girls, like in Latin America, in everywhere in the world.
That fire's still burning, and so I still feel like I'm at that point where I'm not satisfied.
I am so pumped about this conversation today. Deyna Castellanos and Olivia Moultrie. You know, some of us may feel like we're accomplished, but when you hear this 19-year-old, you may just be like, wait, what are you going to do in life? Because Olivia Moultrie made some brave moves at a young age, from 13 being a professional soccer player because she sued the league. I'm okay with that because now more young people are playing professionally. Deyna, global superstar. I met her at the Russia 2018 World Cup and a men's World Cup, and she was an ambassador as a woman. I'm telling you, this conversation's going to make you think. It's going to inspire you. It's going to make you want to watch these players play, but most importantly, you're going to see how these women are using this game as a platform in the most beautiful way to change the game forever. First question, I'm going to start with Deyna. Tell me a defining moment in your life that has defined who you are.
I would say after the 2014 U17 World Cup in Costa Rica, for me, that was a defining moment because that's how I got my scholarship here in the United States. Coming to the United States to pursue my education and like to learn English and everything, it was something that it was very impactful in me and in my family. So that was a change.
Liv.
There's so many. I feel like kind of the start of it all was just the decision to move to Portland when I was 13, for my family to come with me to, forego my full ride scholarship to the University of North Carolina to decide that basically like I wasn't going to take the path that most had taken before me. And to uproot my family in a situation where we didn't know exactly what the outcome was going to be. So
Amazing. We're here in Portland. You just talked about it. So it's called the Global Epicenter of Women's Sports. We're going through a movement in women's sports right now where nobody knows where it's going to end, but you all have been a part of the game changing now, and there's been a journey before. Talk a little bit about being in Portland now where we are doing a building no one's ever done before, $150 million building. As athletes, you're going to be in the same building as the WNBA. Talk a little bit about what it means to be in Portland at this time in women's sports, because the future is so bright.
Yeah, I think it's something that is very, like, we are privileged to be here right now. It's something, how you said, that is going to change the sport and not just football, but also like every women's sport. Like that's the idea. It's like not just thinking about our own sports, but like how we improve everywhere. I think that's like the mindset like with women's sports, right? Like it's like supporting each other, it's like hyping each other, and it's something that is like so unique about women, and that's something that is very special. And us that, well, she's like very very young. Like for me that I'm also young is something that we have experienced a lot of like what happened before and how football has improved and how women's sports have improved, but like there is so much more to come. And like that's something that is starting here, so it's really amazing.
Yeah, I would echo everything Dana said. I think just being in a place that is willing to commit so much to us, like obviously everything that we do on the field every day, we show up in a way that, we try to show that like we're the Portland Thorns and we're here for a reason and we try to create that community. But to expand that into what Dana said, just like women's sports as a whole, it's not just us, it's everyone. And I think just being a part of that commitment and just working to drive that forward is obviously really cool and really special and just exciting. Like, I love being able to be a part of something where we're just working to make it better for the bigger picture. And so I can't wait to be able to like support them at their games and them support us. Like that is kind of just the dream world when I think about being a professional athlete is having other professional athletes who support you and you support them. So yeah, I'm really excited.
It's crazy that you say working on making it better for the future because I see the two of you, and obviously I played 100,000 years ago. And I sit here and I get goosebumps while you're talking because, like, before it was like we just want to make it better than how we got it. And I think of our practice facility, right? $150 million practice facility, walking in for the women who never were allowed to play sports, right? For even my age, I could never have dreamt of having two professional sports walking in. I think of where you'll eat lunch. I think of the Olympic Village, right? When I went into Olympic Village, I could have eaten with my teammates. And I remember eating with Serena and Venus Williams because I was like, that's what it's like. Because when you're an athlete, you just start, once you start a conversation, you start here because you know you've been through something, you know you're thinking at that 1%. And then you'll have the performance where it's like the best minds getting to break bread every day. And women's sports has no background in research and we'll be changing it. For you all, when I have goosebumps because like my younger daughter will walk in there and think that's normal. But for you all, you'll be walking into this building every single day, knowing that you're part of history and you get to create it. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of mentioned it. It's like the sky's only the limit till someone does it. So for me, like when I moved to Portland, it was like that was unheard of at the time. And, giving up a scholarship and going pro and signing with so it's like it's unheard of till somebody does it. And it's crazy till someone does it. And it's kind of like the Nike campaign, like the dream
I
crazier.
was
So
gonna say, wow.
yeah. Wow. So, anyways, it's like it just encapsulates all those things to me. And so yeah, I feel privileged to be in a position to be a part of that. I'm grateful for the situations that I have been put into to forward that in the way that I've done it myself, but also be with women and with teammates who want to do that as well. And so that's really exciting to me.
Yeah, I think that you putting your daughter as an example is something that is so amazing because you said that that will be the normal for her. And that's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal, that to have those kind of facilities, like to be amazing. And everybody having that at some point, like it will be the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about dreams. I remember meeting you in Russia,
Yes.
a men's World Cup, 2018. Younger versions of us would have never seen that. And you're an ambassador, right? And you're drugging the ball and we're trying to do we're talk about Women's World Cup. And then you come from that where the world now sees you. You scored this global goal. Talk about that. Was that pressure? And the reason why I'm talking about it is that there's gonna be people watching this trying to figure like, I have pressures in my life. And yes, that's a different level of pressure, but how did that set you up to now? Because then you went on to play in different parts of the world. How was that start for you? Was it great or was it hard?
I mean, I think when I say we, it's like my family, we always knew that it was something special about me, and that I was going to break stereotypes like all over the world, especially in Venezuela, because football is not a women's sport. And then like after that 2014 World Cup and then after the 2016 World Cup, like it changed. Like every little girl wanted to play football because of me and my teammates, and that was something that is like priceless. So for me, it wasn't something that it was pressure. It was just part of the journey, and it was something that it was getting me ready for like to be here right now and to be to open doors. Because for me, it wasn't just about playing football and like pursuing my dreams, but it was helping others to see somebody that made it
Mm-hmm.
and stay.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think that's my purpose like in life, like opening doors like for little girls like in Latin America, in everywhere in the world, and that's like why my foundation like comes alive. Yeah, so yeah.
What age do you think you found your purpose?
I just think like I was blessed to be in my family, that they supported me all the way, and then finding a team that it will help me help others and like organize, like, because I think I have always been a team player in the sense of like I need somebody to help me and I will help them to help others. And that's my purpose. Like for me, it's just opening doors and like making the path uh, easier for those like younger generations, especially like how I said, like in Latin America, that like you don't have like what you have here or like what you have in Europe, or like, it's like the college system, like it's something that is no imaginable, like in Venezuela, for example, or in Latin America. It's something that here is very special, and you pretty much, if you do the right things, you have everything
Yep.
from the beginning. But in Latin America, you have to work a little bit harder. Like, I'm not saying that here, like, yeah, like that, I have everything. Obviously not. But it's like it's different cultures, it's different mindsets, it's different everything, and different politics and everything. So for me, it's just helping because that really truly makes me happy.
And Liv, I'm going to come back to you in a second, but you talked about coming to college here in the U.S. changed your life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you started your foundation where you bring that same mentality to bring in players to this country. What made you do that? And why?
Why? Because it was the best decision that I made. Like when I was young, I had obviously, like everybody's like journey is different, but I had the same opportunity that Olivia had about becoming pro when I was 14 or 15 years old. But I never wanted to skip my process and my childhood for like, in a way to say it. It was like more about, for me, that's what it was right at the moment. Uh, and I pursue that.
Yeah.
And opening those opportunities and those doors for girls like in Latin America, in Europe, in Africa, like, because that's like what the Point Deyna legacy does. Like, it's not just about Venezuela, but it's about like every little girl that have the same dream that I did, and showing them that it could be possible, but mostly helping them that it could be possible.
This is why I love this, because you two are game changers in your own way. And then Liv, you did the exact opposite, right? And that's why it's perfect, because people listening, it shows that you can achieve greatness by doing things the exact same way that you're meant to do it. Liv, you come and you sue the league, which is like most people are like, she's suing the league? And you come to Portland, and I remember our first conversation, you're like, I'm gonna get a tattoo of Portland. I was like, yes, right? You've done so many things at a young age, because we forget that you're only 19 years old. Talk about that journey for you. When I asked Deyna the pressure, what that was like as a young kid.
Yeah, I think for me, I am very, like, once I decide on something, I am very locked in on said thing. Like, I make a decision and I stick to that. And so once I kind of just felt like, for me at the time, waiting to go to school, and kind of waiting those 5, 6 years before I would have gone to UNC and then played there and then left, I just felt like I wanted a different challenge. I felt like I was ready for something new. And so obviously that led us to Portland. But I just feel like for me, kind of like what Deyna touched on, like, that was just my life. That was just what I knew. What I knew was the situation that I was put in, and all I really knew at the end of the day was what I wanted, which was to be a pro, which was to be one of the best players in the world someday and be talked about like that. Like, that's what I knew. And so every decision came from a place of that's what I wanted and that's what I had decided that I wanted. And so when you talk about like pressure or making big decisions like suing a league, which once again was not the first choice, for people acting like I tried to seek that out, which is ridiculous. But like, we went through every pathway and avenue to try to just like, I just wanted to do what I loved. Just like how Deyna talked about, she had to do it in a different way coming from a different country. And like, yeah, obviously my pathway was very different to hers, but in the same way, like we knew what we wanted and we decided that. And then we chose the pathway that was best for us. And so for me, the pathway that was best was to come to Portland and be with the first team, to prepare myself to be a pro. And then when that could happen, to take advantage of that moment to allow for my bigger goals, for that to be accessible to me earlier. And so, yeah, I don't ever really look at it as pressure. I look at it as a privilege. And there's this Kobe Bryant quote where he says multiple things, but he talks about how people don't hate on the good ones, they hate on the great ones. And so I think people can judge the decisions you make all you want, but at the end of the day, we're both sitting here. We love what we do, and getting to play in Providence Park is a huge privilege. And I love being able to do that every weekend. So yeah, I don't regret any of it. I love where I am now, and I love that I get to continue to build because, like you said, I am only 19. So I get to have a whole career in front of me. And if those decisions that I made before allow that to happen, then I'm proud of those decisions. And yeah, not everything can be perfect, but I'm happy where I am, and I'm happy to continue to grow from there.
Let's go. I'm just like, okay, I'm sitting here with goosebumps. Advice that you would give your younger version of yourself, and then advice you'll give, like, think of yourself 10 years from now, you would give this version of yourself. I'll start with you, Deyna.
Be open-minded, work hard, and trust the process.
And how about 10 years from now?
I would say be disciplined, follow what your heart like desires, and just be passionate about like what you want to do after this.
Liv?
I think for me previously, it would be kind of the same in terms of like truly. Dana, no. Esquivo de paz. Okay. But yeah, just like trust what you love and commit to yourself. Because I think at the end of the day, every decision I made, like I just committed to myself and what I felt like I was capable of. And so I think it's just like stick to your goals. And for me later, I feel like it's the same. Like just appreciate being able to do what you love. Like I love my job. When people think about like when I think about other jobs you can have and what people do every day, and I'm like, I get to come here and play soccer every day, and that's my job. So I just think like loving the process and appreciating every part of it, because at the end of the day, we are extremely lucky to get to do what we do. So
Deyna, I got to ask Rob about you. I'm gonna get to you both in a second, but he was just like smart player, like just a international level of intelligence in the game. So you've grown as a player and you've gone from overseas to here to Portland, and you're still young. How have you felt your game has evolved?
I think being in Europe and being back here in United States, and obviously like all the tournaments that I have played with the national team, eh, have helped me to gain experience, obviously, but also being a player that is adaptable and not just like playing as a nine. That's how I started my career. But now I believe I'm a 10, but like if they need me in the wing, I'll be able to play as a winger and maybe as a goalkeeper. Who knows? Because crazy I am.
I want to see it.
Because crazy I am, but it's just like how to help my team in the way like the team needs me in that moment. I think something that I'm very proud of myself is that I'm a team player and I'm very selfless like in that sense, and I just want what's the best for the group. And yeah, it's just like being adaptable, I guess.
So you have to go. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. What are you learning and what are you unlearning at this period in your life?
I think what I'm learning is to take every opportunity as a learning opportunity. And what I'm unlearning is to forget that this is super serious and remember that this is a game, that football is a game, and we're privileged that our job is a game. And we do that every day.
Your call to action.
My what?
Call to action.
What do you mean?
I was like, that's really good. So like my call to action whenever I end things is like, if you're going to invest in women's football, make it personal. Like, think of the reason why you're going to give more than you want. Or sometimes I'm like, live your life, love, matter. Like, what is your call to action to people from your journey?
It's just how I said before, like just trying to help others like to have a easier path. And like for me that's something that is like really, really big. And that I will try to do like for the rest of my life, even like after like I finish playing professionally. But like I hope like to be involved, like especially like developing like young athletes.
Yeah.
To not just like be ready to get to the athlete like elite world,
Yeah.
but like to be able to stay and be disciplined like from younger ages, because I don't think like that's something that you learn being young.
Yeah.
It's just like when you get there like with the wolf,
Yeah.
that's when you are like, oh shoot, you have to like eat properly, you have to sleep well, you have to like like
Yeah.
take recovery seriously. And then it's just educating,
Yeah.
I would say.
What's your favorite saying in Spanish? And say it in Spanish. Or a motto you live by, or your
You
family.
put me on the spot. Confunde y reinarás. No, mentira. I don't know. To be honest, it's just
Say in Spanish.
no. Like right now, my head is
Okay, in English. Yeah, scared about what she'll say about he says something in Spanish.
No, I'm like, it's your platform. Okay, answer these questions, and you can answer in English or Spanish.
Okay.
And you, if you're like, ask for permission or beg for forgiveness.
beg for forgiveness.
Sour Patch Kids or Swedish Fish?
Sour.
Favorite thing to cook?
I don't cook.
What are you reading right now?
I'm reading right now the Harry Potter saga.
Favorite podcast?
I would say this one now.
Yay!
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Childhood TV show you watched?
Friends.
Oh, good one. As a child?
I mean,
You're like as a baby and you're watching Jennifer Aniston?
yeah, pretty much.
I love it. Favorite cheat meal?
Pizza.
Scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at keeping secrets?
8.
Do you snore?
No,
Why can't we tickle ourselves?
I don't know. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Let me try.
Would you rather come face to face with a miniature hippopotamus or a giant cockroach?
Cockroach.
And then,
The hippos, they're like the biggest like killers in
But
Africa.
she said a mini one.
And I don't.
But it's a bug. A giant one?
Yeah,
ugh.
I'm used to it. I'm from Venezuela.
Favorite part about Portland?
Providence Park, when we play here at home.
Why? Tell
It's just unbelievable. Like you don't get like this atmosphere like unless like you're playing a World Cup final. Like we get this like every other weekend. Like it's unbelievable. Thank
Muchas
you so much.
gracias, Deyna.
Muchas gracias.
That's it.
Yeah, I have to go.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. So Deyna had to leave because she has to go do a commercial. That's what happens when you're a global star. So we're going to continue the conversation with Liv and I, but just making sure you at home know what's going on. Ask permission or beg forgiveness?
Ask for forgiveness, but yeah.
Ask for forgiveness. You just changed it.
Yeah.
Sour Patch Kids or Swedish Fish?
Sour Patch Kids.
What book are you reading right now?
I'm reading a book from a series called The City of Gods and Monsters. It's like a urban fantasy. It's good.
And then how big is it? Because you like to read.
It's big. It's like a 800 plus pages, I think. Yeah.
Because on flights, you actually... Go ahead.
But like I'll read on my Kindle, so then partially I don't know how big it is till I like look and it's like you're 20% in, but you're 200 pages in, and I'm like, dang, okay. But if the book's good, the book's good. I like for it to be long. So
favorite podcast?
this one,
Yes, we're
obviously.
2 for 2.
Mhm.
Favorite holiday?
Yeah, Christmas.
Cheat meal.
That's hard. I don't know. It just depends on I'm more of a sweet tooth though. So like if I was gonna have something, I would want it to be like a baked dessert.
Do you bake?
Well, no, because then it would be in the house. But if I was going to, I would I love brownies. Have you ever had a pizookie?
No.
Insane. It's basically like a thick skillet cookie. BJ's is known for pizookies.
Okay.
And they have this cookies and cream one, and it's
Okay.
really good. And when my family moved from California, there's kind of BJ's everywhere in California.
Okay, yeah.
But then the only one here that's semi-close is in Hillsboro, which is close to the
Practice facility. Yep.
which that's not I'm gonna stay away from there. But long story short, I learned how to make it, and so now when I want something, that's kind of my go-to. Is
The next championship we win, we'll have one together.
Love it.
In good old Hillsboro. Favorite childhood TV show?
Well, there's actually really childhood there's a TV show called Olivia, and it's these pigs,
right, yeah.
and yep, love that, obviously. But if we're talking a little bit older, I love Modern Family. Hilarious.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good one. Scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at keeping secrets?
10.
Of course. Do you snore?
No.
Why can't we tickle ourselves?
My first guess is because we know it's coming and we know what it feels like, but then even when someone says I'm gonna tickle you, it still tickles. So I don't really know.
That's a great answer. Let me see favorite part about Portland.
I mean, it's definitely being able to play in Providence Park. It's incomparable, honestly. Like I said, it's such a privilege, and yeah, not only do I love it, but I look forward to it. There is no nerves in that anymore. It feels like home. I don't know how other teams when they come play here feel, but to me, I'm just make it as loud as possible. I'm just living for that. So
I know how, because after I left here in Portland, I played for Chicago, and I remember coming as a keeper. They did the dodgy keeper.
yeah.
And I was like, yes. It's one of those things where you look forward to it because it's the best environment you'll ever
Yeah,
play.
I mean, that is something that I agree with. Even when we go play away games, I want it to be loud. Now when you go to Kansas City, you can expect a pretty good crowd every time. And I'm good. That's what we're here for.
Right.
I feel like that's what it's all about. So I guess I enjoy I mean, obviously there's a certain advantage to playing at Providence Park, but I want it to be loud everywhere we go.
So I spoke to Rob, and he said, we were just talking about, because what we kept saying is, the crazy thing is she is 19, right? To have seen you grow so much, Liv, because I remember our first conversation, and then every year, it was almost like we had the battle of you're finally professional, but you don't get to play every game. And you had to go through that journey, and I was with you in it, and it's hard. It was so hard for you. And then now you're coming into your own in a beautiful way, right? And Rob is saying how, defensively you're working so hard. The little things that we've talked about of what does Liv need to do to get better? And you continue to be obsessed with being better. How have you evolved?
I mean, I feel like so much of me, not only as a player, but also as a person, has evolved since being here. Obviously, I've always kind of been an old soul, but I had to grow up fast in the environment of being a 13-year-old with professional athletes, and so I think in terms of how I view things, that has changed in not only that I have been extremely impatient in moments, but then at the same time have had to learn to be patient and accept that I just need to control what is in my control. And the things that are not, I will have to let them be as they will, because yeah, for the first time in my life being a professional athlete and finally being on the roster and signed, it was oh, but now it's the coach decides on this, and yes, I can perform in training. I can show up every day. I can do everything physically and mentally possible to make myself ready and put myself in the best position. But at the end of the day, I don't make that decision. And I also can't control, what my teammates are doing or what's going on around me. So that was definitely the hardest thing for me to kind of find that balance for. But also at the same time, I'm growing as a player. My role is building. And so that kind of impatience or just want for more, that's never sated. That's still continued to go. That fire's still burning, and so I still feel like I'm at that point. where I'm not satisfied. Like, I want more. I want to help my team win. Like, I want to be more efficient in everything that I do. And obviously, with the national team and with the Thorns, trying to build in both places, and we're at different stages in both places for sure. But like, that doesn't change the fact that if I can get better at one thing here, like that affects what happens on the other side. So yeah, in terms of how I've evolved, I would say there's so many areas of the game it would be hard to name. But yeah, I think just my mindset and my outlook on how I approach situations has changed, and for the better, made me as a better player, and just, yeah, just willing to always want more, but know that, like, at the end of the day, I need to focus on what I can control every day and let
Love
the
it.
rest be what it is.
So Dana talked about leadership being a bit selfless.
Mm-hmm.
How, as a 19-year-old, do you walk into a professional dressing room and be a leader?
So I think for me, just as I've built being a pro, at the beginning, a lot of it was like I just kept my mouth shut. Like, I showed up every day, I put my head down because, like, if we're being frank, not everyone was a huge fan of that situation. And I wasn't ignorant to that, I understood what was happening, but I also knew at the end of the day that I was ready and I belonged where I was. So while I had kind of that self-belief and that self-assurance, I also wanted to handle the situation the best way possible, to where I didn't need my teammates to like me, but I wanted them to respect me. And so the way I showed up every day was an attempt to just earn that respect. What I did on the field, how I conducted myself, how I operated as a teammate as my role continued to build. And so I think at the point I am now, I've kind of slowly gotten more and more comfortable with just sharing completely who I am with my teammates. And I feel like I'm at the point now where I'm 100% me every day, and I'm really close with this group. This group of people has been really special. I love our team. And I just feel like I've been able to come into my own in terms of, like, I just feel free when I walk in. There's no more like walking in and I have a plan or I know how I want to act to, I guess, not necessarily avoid like, not disagreements, but, like, avoid those kinds of things. Like, I never really did that before, but I was aware of how to just make it as seamless as possible.
Okay.
And now it's just like, I know who I am and I'm confident in who I am, and my teammates know who I am. And just as I've been able to build that on and off the field, it's like, yeah, I feel very accepted in who I want to be every day, which is the best feeling. And so that just allows me to be me, and they see, the goofier side of me now that hasn't, like, people don't really know that side. And so that's always fun for me, because I feel like the more free you are with your teammates off the field, the better you're going to feel on the field. So
Oh, I know how goofy you are. And I think what I'm hearing from you is that you're becoming your authentic self, which is one of the most beautiful things somebody can do. All right, so let me pull up some videos here.
oh Lord.
She said, "Oh boy, they're of you, Liv, so it's gonna be okay."
Okay.
So I'm gonna just don't want okay. Play that and just talk
Okay.
through what you're seeing and feeling as you're.
Okay. Ah, this right now I'm watching when I'm about to make my debut for the Thorns in Louisville.
And was that a
Keep talking through it.
begins at
The ref, like, I was getting ready to run on the field, and the ref's like, "Wait," and I was like, "Oh," I was a little anxious.
Club for
Yeah, I just remember running out there, and, like, the first thing is I kind of made eye contact with my teammates who were out there, and they just gave me the thumbs up. And so I just was like, "Okay, I got this." I just felt this moment of, like, my teammates have my back. When I saw, because somebody went down with a cramp, and so that's why I went in, and I saw them go down, and I was like, I already had prepared myself, because I'm not gonna be able to prepare myself 30 seconds before I go in.
Okay.
So even going on the trip, I was, like, mentally preparing for, if I get in this game, like, how am I gonna feel? How do I wanna feel? And so then teammate went down, and I was, like, looking around at who else was on the bench, and I was like, "I think I'm gonna go in." And so then, we're warming up, and, yeah, they finally, like, called me down from being in the corner warming up, and I was like, "Oh," like, not swearing, but I was freaking out in the best way possible, just in terms of, like, I can't believe it's finally here, because it's kinda one of those things where it feels like it takes forever, but then all of a sudden it happens, and then it happens,
Yeah, it's cool.
and everything's going really
Yeah.
fast. So just the whole process of seeing you called up, reading the set pieces, getting on the field, like, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is, like, what I've been working for this moment." Like, it all comes down to this, and my family flew out, so my parents were in the stands, and my mom told me that when I went in, my dad had to, like, walk away from the group
Knowing your dad
and go
is it?
stand off to the side so we could, like, have some peace while it happened. But, yeah, I mean, that's when you talked earlier about just, like, moments that have been pivotal and, like, changed like, this is huge for me.
Tell
This
them
was
how old you are.
15 in that video, but, yeah, I couldn't have been more excited in that, so.
And talk about, I mean, your parents, we know your family, they show up for you all the time. Talk about what that was like with them when you finally, because I remember a moment like my first Olympics when I couldn't get to my parents because there was security and everything, and I finally got to look up at my parents,
Mhm.
and my dad had a tear,
Oh,
and he was like, "I'm so proud of you,"
yeah.
because my family sacrificed a lot to get me to where I was, and I will never forget that moment. Talk about that moment for you when you got to be with your family and celebrate that.
Yeah, so, actually, after the game, because I only went in for, like, 10 minutes, and something that I feel like is a reflection of who I am, this'll give you a look into Liv, is we always top up after the game, like, if you didn't play major minutes, you get your running in, da da da, so I just made my professional debut. My parents are in the stands. I have to go do media after. And I'm like, all right, pause. I got to go run first. So I went over to Tom and I was like, tell me what I got to do. And so I did all of it. And my family was kind of yelling at me. And I was like, pause. I got to finish. So, anyways, I finished my running, saw them. Then I did media. And then the next morning, before we flew out, because we had, like, a later flight or whatever, I'm texting Tom, I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna go run, like, I'm gonna go work out in the gym." And so then that morning, the night after, I, like, woke up at, like, 6 a.m., went and ran 5 miles on the treadmill and did a lift. So, because at the end of the day, we played the next weekend, and I was trying to be in the best shape possible for me to show up and do it all again the next time. So, it's just, like, it goes back to, I feel like, the original point of this is just my life. Like, of course I was excited and of course I knew it was a pivotal moment, but at the same time, this is my normal. This is what I'm used to. And all of the work I did to get to that point to make my debut, it's not like I could just stop doing all that. It's not like I'd made it. Like, to me, obviously that was an important moment, but I hadn't, like, my dreams are so much bigger than that. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be one of the best players. I want to be the best player in the world someday.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
So, all of the work, like, I couldn't stop that. It's not like I had accomplished, like, the end. That was just a step of the ladder, like, a little bit closer to the top of the mountain. So, yeah, of course I was excited, and I think you need to celebrate the wins because that's part of life and a career, but at the same time, like, that just made me even
Yeah.
more eager for more, like, so.
And knowing your parents, your dad probably had some advice to give you in that moment.
Honestly, he was pretty just like, "I'm so freaking proud of you."
There you go. That's what. Yeah,
All
he
of
is your
everyone was just
number one fan. I'd say, well, your whole family is.
Yeah.
But yeah, and your mom's just the soft, kind.
She just grounds everyone, honestly. She's the clear-headed one in every decision-making process, but yeah, they both were just like, "There's not much more to say, like, we're just really proud of you."
Family's the best.
Yeah.
Swipe over to the next
Okay.
one.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
I didn't know it was gonna happen tonight. I found out about 30 seconds before I went in the game. But basically it was just like, go be you, don't be nervous, you're ready for it. And it was the perfect words to just send me out there and for me to feel ready to go. I mean, everything has been so supportive on the outside and of course my teammates. And one of the biggest things that they've told me is just go have fun. You know, you're ready for it and you've worked for this. And I think the only words that I could relay to everybody else and anybody watching is just that not only do dreams come true, but when you set your mind to something and you work for it every single day, that, you know, these things can happen. And so I just hope that everybody can live by those words.
Dang, maybe I was more well-spoken then than I am now. I felt like that was good.
I was like, look how amazing that is, right? You're like, oh, okay, after you run, then you go do that and you deliver that perfect moment. Like, people watch that and felt so inspired to watch your journey, and then you inspire them with your words. But looking back at that right now, what's the first thing that comes to your mind other than how well spoken you are?
Um, I look like such a baby in that video. Like, it just reminds me, like, yeah, how young I was, but just how much I've learned since then. It's just crazy to see that, like, I've been doing this now, like, this is my 5th season with the
Yep.
Thorns. It's wild to look back on it, but yeah, it just reminds me how much I love what I do. Like, I truthfully wouldn't change anything, and I know, like, everyone has their own opinion on what I've done and the situations that I put myself in, but, like, I love what I do, and I think the more people get to know me, they understand that that wasn't a parent decision, that was an Olivia decision, every single part of it. Like, I drove that way before I had a license, I was driving that truck in this direction, so I just think, like, it's fun for me to see that even though I'm such a different person now than I was then, like, the sole focus and the mindset has been the same. Like, it's evolved, of course, but in terms of, like, I knew what I wanted and I went after it, it's just fun to see that I made that decision and I really, really stuck with it till it happened, so.
So to close it out, what are you learning and unlearning?
I think, honestly, I'm still learning how to just my dad used to call it, like, live in her box, and so it's kind of like when all the things wanna knock and get into your headspace and get into your, personal area, it's like, how can you isolate your thoughts and just remember what's most important to you, and I think that applies on and off the field. Obviously, being a teammate is a huge part of that, but it's just like, how am I my best self? And that obviously directly affects my team and what happens on and off the field. So I think I'm still learning how to perfect that, but that's something that's been really important to me throughout my career. And it's fun as my role changes within the
Yeah.
teams and everything like that. And I think, yeah, kind of going along with that, the things that I'm unlearning, it's like I'm unlearning that I can't control every situation. And I'm very type A and I like to have my hands on everything and just be a part of everything. But I am now unlearning that, like, that's not realistic all the time
Yep.
and relearning how can I be my best self in every situation and just control the things that are in my control. And that gives me just so much peace in doing what I do. And it takes away any kind of stress or anxiety or whatever you'd want to call it about the situation because there are so many positives.
Yeah.
So when you kind of take away that aspect of it and just like live in the now, like I'm doing what I love right now and I'm going to take advantage of every moment. Like, it makes it that much more special, I think.
Life lessons already by 19. Call to action.
I think, honestly, when I look back at what's already happened in my career and where I'm at, I just think, seeing the women that came before me and what they've done to open up the game and specifically the US Women's National Team was a big kind of moment for obviously the world, but for me specifically watching that happen. And then becoming teammates with some of those people on the Thorns and just realizing like how much of an impact your decisions can make and feeling so I guess kind of honored that I get to be a part of that.
Yep.
And so I think like obviously, I have my personal goals for my career, but at the end of the day, when everyone looks back on what my career was, I hope that it is just like it changed and it opened things and it allowed people to do what they love. Because at the end of the day, that's why I did it. I did it because I wanted to play and I felt like I was ready. And I felt like for those who had the opportunity and could do it, they should also be able to do it. So I guess that kind of encapsulates my call to action is just like, yeah, I'm trying to be my best self, but how can I give people the opportunity to be their best selves? How can I give people the opportunity to follow their dreams? Because when I did everything I did and people didn't like the dreams that I was following, it's like I just wanted the support of others. So if
Yep.
I can support someone else in doing something that I didn't really have that, obviously I did have the people closest to me
Yeah.
giving me that.
Yeah.
But in terms of like kind of on the outside looking in or just even having the pathway, I hope that that is reflected in kind of who I am and what my career shows. So
I love it. So there you have it. Today we've listened to game changers who are young, yet they have perspective on purpose. They've chosen their lane, they've nailed it. They have a global understanding that this game is a platform. And most importantly, they're just doing what they do, which is loving the game of soccer and changing and inspiring lives in doing it. So my call to action is you better watch these women play. You better enjoy what you see because at 19, She's 19, folks. And she's already had life lessons. And Deyna, a global name, taking some of South America, Europe, and now here in Portland, bringing people to our country, bringing people to universities, using her playing career to impact others. Just tune in, watch the Thorns, watch these women, buy the tickets, buy the merch, come to Portland because this epicenter, the global epicenter of women's sports, I'm telling you, if they're this inspired to walk through those doors, so should you. Check in next time.